Dr. Rian, a young doctor who has just started his career, arrives at Bhayangkara Hospital. The hospital looks calm, with quiet corridors decorated with dim lights, holding unspoken memories. Rian feels optimistic and excited to face this new challenge, accompanied by his colleague Dr. Linda, who is more experienced there. Linda, with a warm smile, shows him around, explaining some parts of the hospital that he might visit often. However, on Rian's first night on duty in the emergency room, something unexpected happened. A strange sound came from the operating room, a heavy sigh that sounded very real even though there were no patients there. Rian, who initially thought it was just the effect of fatigue, tried to ignore it. But as he passed near the door of the operating room, a white shadow figure flashed by so quickly. Was it just his imagination, or was there something worse lurking? The next morning, Rian returned to his operating room, trying to find a rational explanation. Maybe it was just a hallucination from lack of sleep, he thought, though a little doubtful. However, when he returned to work the next night, the voice returned, louder and more real. In his confusion, Rian was determined to investigate further, wanting to prove whether it was just fear or there was something more terrifying in this hospital. With determination, he began to find out about the old history of the hospital that was never discussed. The deeper he searched, the more strange things he experienced. Doors that opened by themselves and lights that flickered with strange rhythms. Rian felt like someone was watching him, something invisible but felt very close. That night, Rian decided to spend more time in the operating room, hoping to find the truth behind the strange events. But the tension began to feel more and more tense as time went by. When the clock was almost 3 a.m., the sound of footsteps could be heard clearly in the dark hallway. Rian followed it, but there was no one there. Only a faint shadow seemed to move and disappear behind the corner. "Who is that?" Rian whispered, but there was no answer. When he tried to return to his room, the light suddenly went out, trapping him in darkness. Was this a bad sign or just a mind game? Rian began to doubt his own sanity. What really happened at Bhayangkara Hospital? Will Rian find the answers, or will he become part of the increasingly gripping terror? One thing is for sure, that night was the beginning of a story that would change his life forever. Continue to part 2 to find out more.